friends, from today we are going to start a series on dynamic programming. So first of all, what is a dynamic programming? Dynamic programming is a computer programming method as well as a mathematical optimization tool. And second thing is that why we need dynamic programming? We need dynamic programming to optimize the execution time of a program, basically to reduce, okay? And third thing, why we study dynamic programming? It has application in lots of areas, okay? And most common one are Google Map, biometrics, computer network, TV ads, and ML and AI. And you know how important ML and AI is for us. It is used in most of the areas these days, okay? And one more thing, Google Maps. So if you are going to a place for the first time, are you going to use Google Map or not? Most probably you will, okay? And now comes to where can we apply dynamic programming? So to apply dynamic programming in a program, it needs to satisfy these three conditions, that is recursive equation, overlapping subproblem, and optimal substructure. And we are going to understand these three properties in detail through an example. And we are going to take example of Fibonacci series. So first of all, what is a Fibonacci series? In Fibonacci series, any element is the sum of previous two elements. And this series starts from 0, that is n0 equal to 0, n1 equal to 1, and 2 is the sum of these two, that is 0 plus 1 equal to 1, and 3 sum of these two, 2, and 4 sum of these two, 3, and 5 sum of these two, 5, and n6 equal to 8, sum of these two, and so on. That is fn is equal to fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2. This is the recursive equation for Fibonacci series. Now what we are going to do? We are going to write recursive program. So what is recursive program? And one more thing, we are going to use Python for coding. And def is the keyword used to define a function in Python. So using def, I am going to define a function, and my function name will be fib, and it will take one parameter n. That is which Fibonacci number I want. Suppose I want fifth Fibonacci number, then I am going to give a function called to fib of 5. So with any recursive program, there comes a base case. And what will be our base case here? This will be our base case. If n is smaller than equal to 2, we will return 1. Okay? Else we will return fib of n minus 1 plus fib of n minus 2. So this is the recursive program for Fibonacci series. Now what we are going to do? We will execute this particular program in laptop and see the problem. As you can see, this is recursive code for calculating nth Fibonacci number. So what we will do now? We are going to find different Fibonacci number and we will notice the time. And one more thing, I am using Jupyter Notebook here. Now you may be thinking, what is percentage time? Basically percentage time will find the time taken to execute that particular cell. See, this is cell number 1. Okay, when I will execute this particular cell, it will find out how much time is taken to calculate the thing in this particular cell. So as you can see, while time, it is 0 nanosecond. That is time taken to calculate fib of 5 is 0 nanosecond, and it is 5. Actually it is not 0 nanosecond, it is a time very close to 0 nanosecond. Now calculate fib of 10. Fib of 10 is equal to 55, and time taken to calculate it is 0 nanosecond. Okay, again it is not 0 nanosecond, it is a time very close to 0 nanosecond. Now calculate fib of 20. Fib of 20, time taken is 997 microsecond, that is 1 millisecond. Now calculate fib of 30, and it is equal to 138 milliseconds. So you can see here, time taken to calculate 38th Fibonacci number is approximately 130 times greater than time taken to calculate 20th Fibonacci number. Now let's calculate fib of 40. And one more thing, time taken to calculate fib of 40 will be approximately 140 times greater than time taken to calculate fib of 30. And it will be approximately around 16 seconds. Just wait for a second, it will come. Yeah, 16.8 seconds. It is approximately 140 times greater than time taken to calculate fib of 30. Now see what I am doing here. See, what I will do now is, I will make a plot between n and time taken to calculate it. That is, time taken to calculate nth Fibonacci number versus n. See,
Here I am creating a time list. Basically in this particular list I am going to save time taken to calculate that particular Fibonacci number, that is first Fibonacci number, second Fibonacci number, third Fibonacci number, like this. Here this is my for loop for I in range 1 to 35, that is it is going to calculate different Fibonacci number for me. So see what I am doing here. First of all I am calculating the start time, then I am calculating end time, and between them I am making a function called to fib of I. Okay, and after that what I am doing is I am calculating total time, that is time taken to calculate ith Fibonacci number, and then I am going to store that particular total time in my time list. Okay, then what I will do, I will plot n versus time taken to calculate it. So as you can see, it is exponential.
When we have executed this program in laptop, we found out that as n is increasing, execution time is increasing exponentially. Okay? Now what we are going to do is, we are going to derive the same thing mathematically. So what we are going to do, we are going to assume Tn to be the time taken to compute fib of n. Then T of n minus 1 will be the time taken to compute fib of n minus 1, and T of n minus 2 will be the time taken to compute fib of n minus 2. So eventually T of n will be equal to T of n minus 1 plus T of n minus 2 plus some constant time. And you may be thinking where this constant time is coming from. This constant time is coming from this addition and this if condition. So T of n is equal to T of n minus 1 plus T of n minus 2 plus some constant time. And what we are going to do now? See, T of n minus 1 should be greater than equal to T of n minus 2 in any case. Correct? So we can write T of n as T of n is greater than or equal to twice of T of n minus 2 plus some constant time. Correct? And one more thing, T of n should be greater than or equal to 2 into 2 T of n minus 4 plus some constant time C2 plus some constant time. Okay? And when we will solve it totally, we are going to get it T of n is greater than or equal to 2 to the power n by 2 plus some constant time. So mathematically also we have derived that it is exponential. And what is the main question? Main question here is that can we afford a exponential solution or not? And the answer is no. So what we are going to do now? We are going to do a dry run for this particular program and we'll analyze it. Now let's do a dry run for n is equal to 6. That is, we are going to calculate 6 Fibonacci number. So to do that, we are going to make a function called to fib of 6. When fib of 6 will be called, first of all this condition will be checked. Okay? N is smaller than equal to 2. What is n here? N is 6. So this condition will be false and control will come to this particular line, that is return statement. And what will it do? It will make a function called to fib of n minus 1. That is, it will make a function called to fib of 5. And till the time it will not have the answer of this particular part, it is not going to call fib of n minus 2. That is, this particular part, that is fib of 4, will be on hold for fib of 6. Okay? Then fib of 5 will come for its execution. So first of all it will check this if condition. If condition will be false, again control will come to this return line. And what it will do? It will make a function called to fib of 4. And for this function also, its second part, that is fib of 3, will be on hold till the time it will not have the answer of fib of 4. Okay? Then fib of 4 will come for its own execution. Condition will be false. It will make a function called to fib of 3. Then fib of 3 will come for its own execution. Again condition will be false and it will make a function called to fib of 2. When fib of 2 will come for its own execution, this condition will be true and it will return 1 from here. Then fib of 3 will call its right part, that is, it will call fib of 1. And once fib of 1 will be called, it will return 1 from here as condition will be true. Then what fib of 3 will do? Fib of 3 has answer of fib of 2 as well as fib of 1. That is, it has this answer and this answer. So eventually what it will do? It will sum it up. It will sum it up and return 2 to its calling function. Okay? That is, fib of 3 will return 2 to fib of 4. Then fib of 4 will call its right part. That is, fib of 4 will call fib of 2. And when fib of 2 will be called, this condition will be true and 1 will be returned from here. Then fib of 4 will sum these two and will return 3 to fib of 5. Then fib of 5 will make a function called to fib of 3. And when fib of 3 will go for its own execution, what it will do? It will check this condition again. This condition will be false. Control will come to this return line and it will make a function called to fib of 2. Then fib of 2 will return 1 from here. Okay. And fib of 3 will call fib of 1. And fib of 1 will return 1 from here. And eventually fib of 3 will sum it up and will return 2 from here. Then fib of 5 will sum these two and will return 5 from here. Then fib of 6 will call its second part, that is fib of n minus 2. That is, it will make a function called to fib of 4. Then fib of 4 will check this condition, that is when it will come for its own execution and will make a function called to fib of 3. And when fib of 3 will come for its own execution, this condition will be true. It will make a function called to fib of 2 first. Then fib of 2 will return 1 from here and this condition will be true. Then fib of 3 will make a function called to fib of 1. It will return 1 from here. Then fib of 3 is going to sum it up, that is sum these two values and will return 2 from here. Then fib of 4 will call its right part, that is fib of 2. And fib of 2 will return 1 from here. Eventually fib of 4 will sum these two and will return 3 to fib of 6. Now fib of 6 has left part answer and right part answer. Then fib of 6 will sum it up and will return 8. Okay. So this is how this particular function will execute in memory. Now comes the analysis part. See, here I am making a function called to fib of 3, here also as well as here. See, fib of 4, fib of 4. So we are making function called to fib of 4 here as well as here. And this particular thing is known as overlapping subproblem. That is subproblem. Okay? That is duplicate problem, calling same function many times. Okay? So first condition for DP recursive equation is satisfied. Second condition, overlapping subproblem, is also satisfied. And what was third condition, if you remember? Optimal substructure. Now what we are going to do? We will see what is optimal substructure. See, basically what is optimal substructure is that we are going to break a bigger problem into multiple sub-problems. And eventually what we are going to do is, we are going to combine the answer of these sub-problems and we will reach, that is the main problem will reach to its answer. Okay? And one more thing, these smaller sub-problems will have optimal solution in itself. And to see you, see what fib of 6 is doing is, fib of 6 is making a function called to fib of 5 as well as fib of 4. So basically what is fib of 6 doing here? Fib of 6 is breaking itself into a smaller sub-problems. Okay? And eventually what it is doing is, it is combining the answer of these two problems and reaching to its own answer. And one more thing, fib of 5 and fib of 4 will produce optimal answer in itself. And why? Because it is using the same recursive code which is already optimal. Okay? So the third condition, that is optimal substructure property, breaking a problem into sub problem, is also satisfied here. Now all the conditions for DP is satisfied, and what we are going to do next? We are going to apply dynamic programming here, and to apply dynamic programming we have two methods. First one is top-down memoization method. It is a recursive method, and second method is bottom-up method, and that one is a iterative method. And we are going to see top-down memoization method in our next video. And friends, if you have liked this video, then please like, share and subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching.